Boar's Head is bringing a slice of Japan to the deli. Introducing Boar's Head Ichiban Teriyaki-style chicken. Tender, slow-roasted chicken breast, coated in our signature teriyaki glaze, where ginger, garlic, and a hint of brown sugar meet for a flavor that's both sweet and savory. New Boar's Head Ichiban Teriyaki-style chicken. The bold flavor of Japan. Now at the deli. Only from Boar's Head. Compromise elsewhere.
Blog Talk Radio.
Well, good early morning to you folks, and thank you for tuning in with me once again to another spontaneous edition of True Conservative Radio. And of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost, and I want to thank you for tuning in with me. Excuse me. Like I said, folks, this is a spontaneous edition of True Conservative Radio. We don't have a set scheduled time, like I've always said, every time I've done a broadcast, I do this out of the political spirit of my heart, the things that I feel, the things that I feel that are important, and I'm not trying to be like some of these sacred cows around here that are trying to make themselves media stars or rock stars. Well, whatever gives these, stupid, dirty bimbos credibility and whatever, they have all the time in the world to do this kind of crap. I don't. But I do make an effort to come up on this program so that I can provide some sort of discourse on subject matters that affect true conservatives, that affect America in general. So anyway, folks, I just wanted to prelude that to say I apologize for being so spontaneous. And whether you're listening to me live or in the archive, of course, I appreciate your patronage. Now, what we're going to talk about this evening is something that, of course, everybody who listens to my program knows that I'm about. I'm all about bringing back morality back in America and trying to preserve the family out here. I'm a foot soldier for the family because, like anybody else who's been seeing you out here, or excuse me, anybody who's been seeing the world out here, sorry, getting tongue-tied out here, morality just completely gone out the window. Morality, obviously, we've just become morally bankrupt. And it's unfortunate. But we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to be talking about some political issues that are affecting modern-day America, not only modern-day America, but the international community. And things that affect the international community, obviously, are going to affect the American way of life. So we're going to be talking about those things this evening. We're going to be talking about all kinds of subject matters, and we definitely want you to chime in here. This is a spontaneous late edition of True Conservative Radio. Get back to the phone number. It is 646-652-4869 if you want to chime in on something I may say or disagree, or if you happen to be a long-haired liberal hippie that wants to sit over there and flap their mealy-mouthed gums and grow themselves a pair, give me a call. But something I do want to talk about, something that I learned, believe it or not, waking up early one morning and looking at the ipolitic.net blogs, and I saw that General Rachel, which happens to be listening live in the chat room. How you doing, Rachel? Malachi? Ozone? She broke the story to me personally. President Pervez Musharraf, or should I say ex-president Pervez Musharraf of Pakistan, literally had to resign before the damn government literally throw him on his ass. This is a precarious situation. The more and more time goes on, it seems that we get these precarious international relations fiascos that are happening to America out here. Now, we've already went into great discussion on the past shows about the Russian blatant authoritarian show of force by it asserting itself into Georgia, which is a sovereign democratic nation, Now we have the situation here with Pervez Musharraf no longer being the president. And I'm not no fan of Musharraf. I know that a lot of the liberals out here, they like to talk about how Pervez Musharraf is, some sort of tyrant or some sort of ridiculous moron or something. Look, I'm not trying to say the guy was favorable to certain civil liberties that are accorded to the traditional Western societies out here. But he provided stability in the region. And this is the only reason why I thought Musharraf was a necessity I mean, it's unfortunate. We tried, to push him towards democratic elections, and he attempted to do so in his own ridiculous, jury-rigged fashion. It's ridiculous. And now this man is out on his ass. I just don't understand it, folks. I want to know what you think is going to happen here. I think it's just going to destabilize the whole damn region. We've already got Afghanistan, where pockets of Islamic radicalism and Islamic jihadists have popped up and shown their terroristic and military aggression to our boys out there, to the people that are stationed out there. I mean, this is a serious situation. If we have an unstable Pakistan out here, I mean, that is going to be a serious situation. You have to understand, folks, Pakistan has nuclear weapons. All right? They have nuclear weapons out here. And if by some chance this Islamic radicalism gets into the minds of these Pakistanis out here and it kind of sweeps the populace, the majority of these Pakistanis are going to vote in a supposed quasi-Islamic democratic fashion to vote in these Islamic extremists who can basically have their finger on the damn nuclear button out here. I mean, this is the only reason why I bring up Pervez Musharraf, because Pervez Musharraf, folks, he provided stability. Granted, he wasn't favorable to certain human rights issues, and I don't even want to get into that. All right, we know he was not the most greatest leader in the world, but him being forced to resign out here, this is very precarious. I mean, what's in the future for Pakistan out here? I don't even think this parliamentary government that threw his ass out on the street even knows what the hell they're going to do out here. And this is precarious, folks, I'm telling you, and this is in that same region. The same region out there where Russia's trying to assert its military might. So like some authoritarian communist regime out here, and I told all you folks that tried to criticize me and try to call me a dinosaur, a McCarthyist, and I can go on and on, for me still utilizing the term communism when referring to the left wing of the political spectrum. But this show of might right here, this show of military might by Russia goes to show you that communism is alive and well. And that's why, I mean, all these political situations that are happening in the international community, this is really a scary situation. You've got Russia trying to assert, some Karl Marx crap in the region, trying to assert itself. You've got this Islamic extremism that's not only asserting itself in terroristic fashion, but they're actually persuading a good sect of the populace of the Islamic community globally to actually believe that all this terrorism, all this ridiculous blowing yourself up and killing as many Westerners as possible, they're starting to believe that there's some sort of legitimate resonance in this crap. I mean, it's really ridiculous. It's very scary out here. I want to know what you think, because we're taking a serious turn on this show. I know that, we sometimes I get a little rambunctious. I scream a little bit. But these are serious times, folks, and everybody, and we go back to morality. Instead of everybody, trying to focus on keeping, some sort of moral integrity in America so that we can have something to live for and to fight for out here, we got single-parent families being the majority of the day. I mean, you got all kinds of moral filth being, just pumped into the media machine they call television out here. And then you got all these international squabbles that are happening out here, a possible Cold War too. We're obviously going into a long-term military engagement with these Islamic extremists. I don't know what's going on here, folks. And then we got an unstable economy in America. Hey, who knows? But you know what? The average everyday American is going to go vote for Barack Hussein Obama because he's got nice teeth. Yeah, that's what the American person is going to go vote for. Or the average everyday American is going to go vote for John McCain because he's a maverick. It's ridiculous, folks. I I have no idea. Anyway, folks, 646-652-4869 is the number to call. You're listening to True Conservative Radio. I'm going to be blogging this evening. Get back to the blog or having a bookmark it, ipolitic.net/ghost. And we got a caller here from the 404 area code. 404, you're on the air.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Doing good, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm just, getting a little sick of what in the blue hell is happening in America and in the international front as well.
Goddamn going to hell in the handbasket. That's what's happening.
It's going beyond the hell in the handbasket. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Because then you have to factor in the equation that we've got the liberal infestation of America out here. Liberalism seems to be the cup of coffee of the day, literally.
Goddamn nothing but gays and Mexicans, you ask me.
Well, we shouldn't get a little racial about it. We are a community of what are you saying, sir?
You're live on the vent.
We can't understand you, sir. Are you calling me from an old-fashioned rotary phone?
Yes, sir, 'cause I'm fucking got big balls.
Yeah, get off the line, you stupid moron. All right, you see, this is what I'm talking about, folks. This is it right here. This is liberal agitation right here. It's probably some liberal long hair. He's trying to call up, he's, putting a Kentucky Fried Chicken grease thumb up his derriere out here, and he says, you know what, there's a true conservative actually trying to, throw some discourse about morality. About morality. Let's have some moral discourse right here on the debating table. It's stupid. It's okay, though. I'm used to this by liberals, folks. Liberals, they throw me hate mail, on the ipolitic.net community, which is the only community that hasn't kicked me out because I'm a blatant anti-feminist, a blatant anti-liberal. I got kicked off of MySpace, folks. I've talked about this before. I don't want to get into that. But it was because of my political persuasion out here. But there's even liberal idiots that have all of a sudden joined this community, and they're just completely making a jackass out of themselves, trying to discredit me in some fashion. It's ridiculous. You should see the types of agitation methods that these liberals will do. But this is what they want, folks. You see, they want to change the debating topic. Haven't you noticed that? Haven't you ever debated with a liberal? You can't keep them on one single issue. They're going to try to bounce your head everywhere. You know where they learn that? They learn that from damn Karl Marx. Well, that's who they learned it from. And you see, they're going to continue doing this, folks, because they want the liberal agenda. And you can see it in our judicial system. You can see it in modern-day legislation. You can see it in our educational system. Liberalism is now America's cup of coffee out here, emphasizing single-parent families. Hey, just look at the damn liberal media if you don't believe me, folks. I told you, go look at the children's programs. Old Miley Cyrus, go check out that little network that she works for, and notice the emphasis of single-parent families out here as if it's okay. I saw one program where there wasn't even any parents in the damn house. An older brother was taking care of everybody. This is the kind of, the lack of moral integrity we have sunk to, folks. And you see, folks, without family, okay, without family, what in the hell do people in America have to live for anymore, in my opinion, okay? When you got a bad economy out here, when you got a potential Cold War threat, when you got Islamic terrorists, becoming fanatical lunatics, strapping bombs to their chest, and deciding to blow themselves up, and everybody in it, because they think they're going to get some sort of religious significance, what do people have to fall back on, folks? It's the family, damn it. Family. People need to start putting in their heads out here. And you know what, folks? Feminist movement, I hate to keep bringing it up. I know people that listen to me on a consistent basis are saying, oh, man, here he goes again with the feminist movement. Let me tell you something. The feminist movement is the root cause of all this crap, of all the liberalism infestation of America. It's already asserted the absolute pussification of America. I don't know, folks. I better calm down. I know I know, folks, that I've been doing these shows a little bit more frequently than I have in the past. And the reason is because I think that there's a serious need to talk about the things that we need to discuss in modern-day politics and modern-day discourse out here. I mean, you look at the quality of debate. You look at this ridiculous excuse of the mainstream media out here, and you'll see that they're not even talking about anything. Oh, who would you rather have a beer with? It's ridiculous. Anyway, folks, we're talking about random subject matters. I went off on a rant about morality because I think morality is important. And I'm not talking about morality based on any kind of religious principles. I'm talking about a moral ethos. You know, I remember a time and day. I remember a time and day when it was shunned if you had a child out of wedlock. It was shunned if you had a divorce. And let me tell you, folks, I've been a strong advocate of making divorce illegal. I think we need to make divorce illegal out here. I think that adultery should be a damn punishable offense. I mean, we need to instill some moral integrity out here. Anyway, that's a whole other subject matter. But we're going to go ahead and take a call here. I don't even know who this is. Hello, sir. Ma'am, hello?
You're a motherfucking bitch, cocksucking conservative asshole.
Here we go again with the liberal agitation. A liberal agitation, one more time here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is obviously somebody who doesn't agree with conservative ideology. And let me tell you something, folks. Instead of calling up here and trying to debate me and trying to belittle me on the political discourse debating table, you got these liberals that are going to call up. And they're just going to sit over here and spread this filth out here because that's all they know. That's all they're pumped. I mean, just look at the mainstream media. Look at the movies that are out here. Look at the video games. I mean, I don't even know if I can say trademarks anymore. I've gotten so many emails and threats of lawsuits because I've suggested certain names that have been trademarked in a negative fashion, and these people get their panties in their ass cracks about it. But just look at the damn video games out here where you can carjack people. I mean, there are video games out here where you can go and carjack, rape women, beat up, kill people. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous, folks. I just don't understand it. Anyway, folks, get back to me if you happen to be listening and you agree with some of the things that I may say. If you disagree, and be serious about it, all right? Don't be some jerk nut that's going to come up here and spread a bunch of four-letter filth, all right? Don't get me wrong. Occasionally I use a curse word every now and then, but that's only to put communicable emphasis on a certain statement that I'm trying to express whenever I talk and attempt to facilitate discourse on this program. And I know I tell some of these people, that's why my program is labeled mature, because occasionally I'll slip up out here, and you know what? I'd rather my child have, a somewhat of a cursing problem. No, I'm not talking about being nothing but foul-mouthed filth, but occasionally throwing out an F-bomb or something like that, than going out and being a rapist, or going out and being a murderer, or a gangster, or a drug dealer, or a drug taker. I mean, you can go on and on. I mean, this is all I'm saying, folks. We need to start understanding what's important out here. And what's important is imagery. What is important is imagery here. And I've challenged everybody who listens to my program to just look at the television set and just turn the mute, put the mute button on. Turn the sound completely off and just look at the images and critically analyze them, folks. This is liberal propaganda being shoved down your face. All right? You take a look at the imagery of movies. I mean, it's liberal propaganda. Look at the music stars out here. I mean, this is serious propaganda, man. This is not some joke. This is not something where, I'm falling off my rocker. It is absorbed in the subconscious human mind and is obviously driving the human mind to believe that if you want to be some heathen, or if you want to be some immoral joker, or if you want to go out and philander around like some loose Lucy out here or something, that it's okay. It's okay. It's not okay, all right? And I'm telling you that, and anybody who disagrees with me, you know, the only reason they're disagreeing with me is because they know I'm pulling them right out of the immoral authoritarian closet, folks. And let me tell you, this is not how our country was built. Our country was built on some sort of moral integrity, moral fiber. And I'm getting more calls here, but I'm thinking it's the jerk ass that called me up and, you know, tried to use four-letter filth instead of actually growing a pair and actually debating me on the head-to-head front here, but he's not going to do it because he knows I'll cut him down lower than a leprechaun's nutsack. And that's all there is to it. That's why these liberals, that's all they can do is agitate. These are methods of agitation. You know, they used to use this crap in the 60s. It doesn't work anymore, so what do? They just try to become immoral pieces of garbage. They try to sink you to their level. You understand what I'm saying? They sink you to their level, so you can go ahead and ran off like you're some moron in on a Maury Povich. I shouldn't have even said his name, but you know what I'm talking about, Jerry. You know who I'm talking about. Anyway, we're getting a lot of phone calls here. I want to hear from you folks. 646-652-4869. We're talking real political discourse out here. We need morality back in America. All right? You know, all these liberal morons need to stop tickling their anal passages and claiming that it's a great time out here. They need to start understanding that we need to instill some sort of moral integrity in our society, or we're going to fall, folks. Bottom line. Anyway, I want to take some calls here. I'm going to take a couple of calls here. We got 734. You're on the air.
Hello?
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 Yeah, 734. You're on the air.
Yeah, I'm on the thing, right?
What?
I have a song I want to sing called Dear Mr. President, and what I feel is so true.
You want to sing a song?
Yes, what I feel is so true, and it's called Dear Mr. President.
All right, well, I'll let you sing a song. Go right ahead.
Okay, I'll tell you
Why
when
not?
I'm done.
All right, go ahead. All right.
Na na na. Na 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 na. Dear Mr. President, take a walk with me. Let's pretend we're just two people and you're not better than me. I'd like to ask you some questions if we can speak honestly. What do you feel when you see all the homeless on the street? Who do you pray for at night before you go to sleep? What do you feel when you look in the mirror? Are you proud? How do you believe? Well,
So are you a liberal?
What?
Are you liberal in your political views, if you will?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't like you? So what was the purpose of calling up and singing that song? Are you trying to get a contract or something? You think Quincy Jones is listening?
No.
Okay. Well, you know what? We thank you very much for calling in, and we appreciate the song. Okay. See you later. 808, you're on the air.
Hey, thanks for having me on. This is David Allen.
How's it going, David?
Pretty good. My comment is, I just ended a show, about 20 minutes ago, and I had a caller right at the very end who came on, and, you never know what you're going to get with a caller, especially when they get the 111 Skype calls. And I was a little bit in the air, and I just asked Prying and who were also at the show whether he was a serious caller or whether he was someone just trying to get me to say something racist. I've noticed so many people out there getting kicked off of BTR because I think people are going into their show trying to get them to say something bad and then going ahead and complaining about it so they get kicked off. It's a way of censorship. It's what the left tries to do. If they can't argue with a point that you have or they can't come up with a counterpoint to your arguments, they call you a racist and they try to get you censored.
It's really unfortunate. I mean, but you're right, David. It's a very good observation of what the political agitation methods of the left are, and that's obvious what they're doing. They're doing this to you. You're supposed to be an independent political thinker.
Well, I'm an independent conservative, which means no party can count on my vote, but unfortunately I've only had one choice in every election that I've ever voted in, which is for the Republican, because I certainly couldn't vote for a Democrat. But let me point out to your last caller who wants to talk about the homeless. Did she see the fact that homelessness is down significantly, I think 12% in the last 8 or so years? So go ahead and thank George W. Bush for that, because he was the one who was president at the time when homelessness was seriously decreased in our country. So thank you, George W. Bush, for reducing homelessness in our country. And, well, it seems that in all those years of Clinton, they couldn't do anything about it.
No, absolutely not. And on top of which, you know, a high percentage of homelessness, I don't really have the figure offhand, but is due to mental disabilities.
You know, you can't force them by gunpoint into, you know, you can't take them off the street. If they're mentally ill and that's where they want to be, there's little you can do. And some people say, yeah, you should take them off the street by force and put them in asylums. But that's the question that you have to go through. It's not what you want to help them, it's how to help them. And certainly conservatives are not against helping homeless people. We are the compassionate party, unlike the Democrats, who want to just use them as a political base, and they want to keep people down to keep them voting for them.
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, David, you know, since you do have a show and you are a somewhat of an independent voice out here, what do you think about or I don't know if you're too into international politics, but what do you think about the Russia-Pakistan situation?
The Russia-Georgia situation? Or
well, yeah, but the Russia-Georgia situation and then Pakistan, Musharraf resigning.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought you were getting. I think, well, as far as the two presidential candidates, Obama's first reaction was that of appeasement, and McCain's first reaction was that of condemnation of Russia's actions. Georgia is one of our allies. They put troops alongside of our troops in Iraq. They are our friend. They are a freedom-loving democracy where Russia is a totalitarian, authoritarian, fascist state. So that's where our allegiance lies. And as far as Musharraf stepping down, I just hope the radicals don't gain control, because he was the strong-arm guy who was keeping the radicals out. Now, I'm not much for strong-arm dictators, but they are certainly better than radical fundamental Islamists. So I hope that the current democratically elected government in Pakistan can keep control and keep the radicals out, and is an ally of ours fighting the radicals, and maybe they'll do a little bit more than Musharraf was willing to do to go after Osama bin Laden, who is surely hanging out in Pakistan.
Now, do you think that by any chance the Islamic radicalism or fundamentalism out here could sweep the mental conscience of Pakistan, and they could actually elect somebody democratically that's just as Islamic fundamentally or radically as they are, or as the terrorist, or whoever is basically dictating the level of interpretation of Islam, or the extremist Islam, excuse me. Do you think that it could be possible we could see an Israel-Palestine situation where Hamas took power through democratic means?
Yeah, and it's one of my major concerns, because you're talking about a country where 70%, I think upwards of 70% of the population supports Osama bin Laden and his al-Qaeda views. They are a very radical country, and the only saving grace of that country is they have a British tradition in their military, which has kept the military from becoming fragmented and radicalized. And that's the one great thing about Musharraf, is that you know, he wasn't all the best of the allies that we could ever have hoped for, but he certainly was better than what we could expect a Hamas-type government. And you're absolutely right. That could happen. They could democratically elect a radical Islamic government. And at least we'll know where they stand, but it's certainly not a country that we, you know, having nuclear weapons and all, that want to fall into the radicals' hands.
And that's what the scary part about it is. And then you have Russia trying to assert its authoritarian might in the region. I think that if Pakistan falls into shambles democratically, once again, I wouldn't be surprised seeing Russia, you know, throw in some sort of influence for it to go its authoritarian path. As far as Pakistan is concerned, I mean, I just see unfortunate turbulence in the region ever since this blatant disrespect, for international peace, or I wouldn't say peace, but international stability on the world power front, by Russia just going in there and going into one, and just like you said, one of our best allies in the war on terror. They're democratically elected. They're a young country. They have troops fighting out there with us in Iraq. If anything, and I discussed this on the last show, what Russia could have done is they could have went into Chechnya and legitimately taken fully authoritarian-style control of Chechnya and would have had political capital on the United Nations front to go in and say, hey, look, the reason we invaded these guys was because they were terrorists, and there's a variety of different documented terrorist, nationally documented terrorist acts implemented by Chechnyan rebels on the Russians. But they didn't do that. They went after somebody that is a blatant, we were about to initiate their entrance into NATO, or attempting to, for that matter. And we've got the missiles in Poland, which I guess rattled their feathers a little bit.
What's amazing is as soon as they invaded Georgia, the Russians, Poland signed the agreement with us to accept the missiles. They weren't scared. They weren't terrorized by Russia as Russia wanted them to be. And, of course, we all know the prize over there is Ukraine, a country of 50 million people with a lot of natural resources. That's what Russia is looking at. They're saying if we get away with what we're doing in Georgia, we can do it to Ukraine. And you got to blame the appeasement mentality of the socialist governments in the European Union who refused, especially Germany, was blocking their entrance into NATO. They refused to allow these countries into NATO, which would have stopped it because they got, I think it's Article 5 of the NATO Charter, requires that all NATO countries attack anyone who makes an aggressive action against a NATO member. And they were in NATO. Russia would never have had the balls to go in there and invade their countries like they did.
No, absolutely not. And now we're in somewhat of a pickle. The last news that I've read, I was reading that apparently they were supposedly calling a pullout, but they're going the opposite direction. And I don't think they're going to leave. I predicted sometime back, about last week sometime, that they were just going to go ahead and overtake the country. And once that happens, in my view, that the United States is not going to be able to do a damn thing about it. So we're going to let a democratically elected government like Georgia, who can't defend itself against superpower military might out here, authoritarian military might, mind you. And they're going to fall, and unfortunately they're going to come back into the control of the Russian empire, or the communist empire out here, and that's going to create instability with all shaky democracies and stable democracies in the region. And I think that this just spells trouble. This is Cold War II in the making, possibly. What do you think?
It's certainly very troubling, and I was just reading in the chat room, and Testu, or PSTETWOO, asked, what is Russia's justification for attacking Georgia? Well, let's say, how about no justification?
Yeah, exactly.
Georgia was attempting to take back a province of their own country inside of their borders, a province that was kind of aligning themselves with Russia. And they tried to take that back, and Russia, in an extreme act of overkill and over-response, decided to use that as an excuse to go ahead and take the entire country of Georgia. And just look at the people that are going ahead and backing Russia's actions instead of backing Georgia. You got people like Raul Castro, Castro Jr., Senior Castro's idiot little brother, backing Russia. You got people like Hugo Chavez backing Russia. So, it's a good indication of who you are by who your friends are, and these are Russia's friends. They are a totalitarian, fascist government. They're no longer communist, but they certainly haven't gotten any better. Putin is going to be president or prime minister for life, or whatever position he wants to take, and he's going to be able to put in whatever puppet president he wants that he can pull the strings on. It's not a democracy. Putin took over that country, and he has destroyed any chance they have for democracy anytime soon. This is not a friend. This is somebody that we have to watch out for, and if necessary, show them that we will fight them. It's not something that anybody wants to do. We've got enough wars going on. We don't need any more hot conflicts, but we can't let their aggression go without a response. And we've got to prod every single one of our so-called allies in NATO and the European Union to grow some backbone, grow a spine. Maybe we can come up with a spine transplant to get them to stand up against that. I know they get a lot of natural gas and a lot of oil from Russia, but they've got to stand up for their own interests, or else it's going to be in the 1930s with Hitler all over again. It's going to be the 1960s where Russia, 68, where Russia was marching all over Czechoslovakia and putting down the opposition to their communist rule. It's just a different name, but the same old story. Russia seems to love their czars and their authoritarians and their strong-arm leaders, and that's what they have in Putin.
It's unfortunate. That's actually a well-put point there, David. Well, anyway, we're going to go ahead and take another caller. Did you want to plug anything by any chance, David? I know you have a show. Do you have a website, blog?
Yeah, sure. IndependentPolitic.com is my site, and I do a show on BTR called Independent Politic. It's on Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So you all go ahead and check me out. And thanks for letting me on.
I appreciate the commentary, man. Very insightful.
Thanks.
You have a good one. Well, that's an independent thinker, David Allen, and of course you can get back to his show, which he announced, and I think he has a website called independentpolitic.com, I believe the name of it was. But, a lot of the things he was saying, have some validity out here. I mean, and I've said it all along, that communism is not dead out here. And it's pretty sad when you've got some of these major countries actually backing up old Russia. But what did I tell you, folks? I prognosticated this a while back already. I suggested that once Russia finally takes full power and control of Georgia, the United States is going to have to do something. All right, they're either going to have to do something diplomatically, which I think which is probably going to happen because they're not going to do anything militarily. I'm not trying to, I think we have the most greatest army on the face of the planet, but, we're in already 2 theaters of combat here. And on top of which, these are 2 separate ideologies that we have to be dealing with. I mean, this is a pretty scary situation, You have to think that you've got the ideology of Islamic radicalism, which the United States used to its advantage during the Afghan-Russian war. And you've got this communist or quasi-communist capitalist variant of ideology in the Russians. And I feel that once Russia takes over Georgia and the United States does any kind of military move in any fashion, you're going to bring back old Karl Marx's group again, the old communist homeboys. I wouldn't be surprised to see all the classic faces, China, Vietnam, Cuba. I mean, you can go on and on. Venezuela. This is very dangerous. And what happened? Why is this happening? Because the American people have accepted left ideology. It's infested their minds. And just like David, who just called here, just like he suggested, there's a lot of people on BTR that are calling up shows and trying to agitate people to get racial or some kind of crap like that, so they can get kicked off the air. This is liberalism, folks. This is what I'm talking about. It's infected everybody, but they want tolerance, right? The political correctness crap. I told you, folks, political correctness is a method of agitation to assert the pussification of America. And I just can't believe, I am in awe every time I go out into the public, every time I look at all the sour faces, all the sour pussies, you can just see the pain in their faces. They're disgusted. They're single parents out here. You see these dirty bimbos with about 4 kids, and they're by themselves out here, and they're not being nothing but they're not eating any kind of a mother, for Christ's sake. These kids are climbing on crap, breaking crap, and they're just laughing it off. I prognosticated in April and May that come summertime, and we are in the summertime, these women are going to conveniently leave their child in a car in about 109-degree weather, and it's going to be dominant. You're going to see a whole bunch of these cases. And what's happened? I see once a week, at least on the news, that some bimbo who basically just didn't want to take care of her responsibility anymore, decided to conveniently leave her kid in the car in 109-degree heat out here, having the poor kid baked to death. And what happened? Do these women go to jail, folks? No. And I said that back then, and I'm saying it now. They're not going to jail. This is the feminized society we live in, folks. We need to get some moral integrity. All right? I'm telling you, feminism and liberalism has infected everybody's minds out here, folks. This is not a joke. This is why I talk about these issues with passion, because this is a real phenomenon out here, folks. Look at what's happening. Single-parent families are the majority of the day. I mean, do you see an emphasis on family on any of these programs you watch for entertainment purposes? No. You're just push filth, sexual perversion. They're trying to trivialize marriage, so it's okay to go ahead and have 4 or 5 different marriages out here. They're trivializing sexual promiscuousness out here. It's sick. They're pumping all this violent garbage in your head. I just don't understand it, folks, and that's why I get so passionate. That's why you hear me sometimes. I'm yelling. And I scream with passion because I'm a true conservative, folks. I've been a conservative my whole life. I've led the conservative lifestyle my whole life. And what does that entail? What exactly does that entail? Well, I'll tell you what it entails. It entails some sort of moral integrity. It entails understanding that we need to understand that the family is the most important thing in modern human history. And I see here in the chat room, and you happen to call in and hang up. I'm sorry, I was just going off on a rant there. 646-652-4869. General Rachel, who's in the chat room, said that being a single parent is almost celebrated. You're right, it's being celebrated. It's not only being celebrated on a social front, but it's being celebrated by these damn government subsidy programs, these welfare programs, all this garbage. All these entitlements out here. The entitlement situation is praising it. A woman can literally have, and folks, I am not joking, you do your own research. Each state is different. But a woman can literally just manufacture or dump out and shit out 5 or 6 kids from 5 or 6 different fathers. I'm telling you, this is not a joke. Okay? And that's why I'm so verbally vulgar when I make this notion or whenever I talk about this subject matter, because it's serious. I hope it sticks in your head, folks. All right? Yeah, I hope it sticks in your head. A woman can have 6 different children from 6 different fathers, okay? She can get up to about $3,500 to $4,000 in government subsidies. I'm not just talking about in cash. I'm talking about welfare, some cash, the what do you call that? The little food card, government cheese, health care, free child care, free education, the whole works, the works. And if she happens to have 5 or 6 different kids from 5 or 6 different fathers, well, then you got child support, right? And that's 5 or 6 different avenues of child support. And if these poor bastards happen to be a good, hard-working man out here, haven't you noticed that all the good, hard-working men out here only have about 1 children, if that? Because, some feminist or some woman became a feminist out here, decided to divorce him and, hop on the pizza boy or something. All of a sudden, it's become an economic resource to have children from multiple different fathers out here. It seems like the good men actually get screwed. And it's a shame, folks. It's a shame. You see, this is the effect of liberalism. Liberalism has infected everybody's mind to believe that, okay, well, it's okay to go out and philander around. Okay, it's okay to go out and have adultery. It's okay to go ahead and have, sexual perversion and just go out and be a heathen out here. Be a damn deviant. And they're embracing it with monetary gain, folks. I mean, you think, okay, $3,500 to $4,000 in government subsidies to a single woman with 5 or 6 kids for 5 or 6 different fathers. Then you take, the minimum, the bare minimum that a man has to pay, at least in the state of Texas, where I'm from, is $250 a month per kid, and that's the minimum. Now, there is a loophole. You got so many deadbeat dads out here that are not employed anymore, that they're just living off of mommy and daddy out here, and all they have to do is show a $20 pay stub, and the woman has to live off that $20 or take an allotment out of that $20 pay stub. So I mean that's a whole other different subject matter. But I'm just talking about the financial benefits of being a deviant woman. And I'm serious. I don't mean to disrespect women when I say that, but this is what the feminist movement wants. They want deviant women out here. They have equated woman liberation with sexual promiscuity, sexual just perversion. They've turned them into subliminal prostitutes, folks. And I know I've said this a billion times, but just think about it. Think about it when I say that. All right? Think about how these women are subliminal prostitutes. What's the first thing that young people say when they meet each other in a social arena, like a damn bar or a club or something? What's one of the first things that come out of their mouth after they get to know each other? The whole what's your name, all this other crap. What do they say? What do you do for a living? That's what they say. They say, what do you do for a living? Now, don't you think the first things that come out of people's mouths in an initial meeting are you a maniac? Are you a freak? Are you a rapist? No, it's what do you do for a living? And if you say some extravagant, job, extravagant, occupation that makes a high production of revenue, all of a sudden you could probably have any woman at the palm of your hands nowadays. Haven't you noticed that? Haven't you noticed that you got fat, balding pieces of bloated gas bag garbage that are out here scoring these hot models? Can you understand why this is happening? Because they're buying them, folks. That is subliminal prostitution. And this is why I'm so critical about feminism, because feminism is a contradiction within itself. It's unfortunate because you've got the feminist movement, just kind of, antagonizing that pride, that woman pride aspect in the brain, and they're trying to correlate it with all this deviant filth. And they're succeeding at it. This is why there's so many divorces out here, folks. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that men are great either. Men that cheat on their wives, in my opinion, should be thrown in jail. That's in my personal opinion. I'm not advocating that. But that's all I'm saying. We need some moral integrity out here. The family. I'm telling you, folks, you look back at the most oppressive times in human history, when people were serfs, when people were slaves, when people were just were under the most oppressive forms against the human condition. And what was the thing that kept humanity going? What was the thing that kept people breathing, kept people wanting to eat, kept people wanting to not wake up, not wake up? What kept people going, folks? It was the damn family, man. The family is what kept people together out here. That's the purest essence of humanity out here. And here you got these liberal, authoritarian jerkasses trying to take that away from everybody. And they're doing a pretty good manipulating job of it, too. It all goes back to what these liberals represent. Liberal, what do they represent? Most liberals are a bunch of atheists, all right? Just ridiculous atheists, and most liberals are evolutionists. All right, and you see, and I've made this debate time and time again, but it bears repeating because let me tell you, you've got a lot of pro-atheist, anti-religious movies that are coming out here. And I'm not advocating anybody's religion. I think that, that's what America was founded on, was religious freedom. It was an eclectic mix back in the day, back at the early colonies when they first settled America out here. It was just a variety of different religions out here. So I'm not advocating religion. I never talk about religion on this program because I believe that everybody should have some sort of moral integrity based on human moral ethos. And I think that, you know, in America, we've learned to separate the spheres of consciousness. We've learned to separate the religious and spiritual sphere of consciousness from the rule of law of our democratic republic society. All right? I mean, this is what I'm talking about out here. Anyway, folks, I want to hear from you. 646-652-4869 is the number to call. This is True Conservative Radio. Sir Malachi's on his way out, going to bed. How you just take it easy. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me, whether it's live or in the archive. I really appreciate your patronage, but we have to start talking about these subject matters, folks. You turn it on the boob tube right now. What are you hearing? I mean, hell, do it right now. I mean, if you happen to be around a boob tube, turn it on, flip it on the damn mainstream news channels. What are they talking about? They're talking about horse crap. That's what they're talking about. I mean, and the people, you know, and this is why I'm so critical about America. You know, there's a lot of people that email me up nowadays because I've been so critical about American people. You know, I've had a few shows with the name, you know, American Public Sucks and all this other nonsense. But the reason I'm so critical about America is because people have become just complete morons out here. I mean, they're Nimrods. I bet you most of these people, if you told them that you could drown a fish, they would believe it, folks. This is how stupid America's gotten out here. But, of course, it's not all America's fault. I mean, we do have a public education system that's dumbing down America to a point where, I mean, who in the hell knows, we may come into another damn Dark Ages or some crap. I mean, people are stupid. You know it's chic to be stupid now, folks? I mean, if you show any type of an intelligent thought in a social arena, people are looking at you like you just farted on your best suit or something. People look at you all cross-eyed like, oh, my God, he's being smart. What a little cocky bastard. That's how people are in America right now, folks. Are you kidding me? And I'm saying, folks, you don't have to be the most articulate person in the world to have some sort of common sense, a logical thought out here, rational thinking. And that's what I try to do on this program. I try to do in every medium that I try to communicate to anybody who listens with, whether it's on ipolitic.net, whether it's on the Blog Talk Radio Network, wherever it is. I try to facilitate debate that nobody talks about because everybody just wants to put it in the back burner because they want to implement this liberal agenda down our hole. Well, I'm not going to let them do it. That's why yours truly, me, I've been kicked off of MySpace because I'm an anti-liberal and an anti-feminist. I've been taken off the air on this very network because I'm a blatant anti-liberal and a blatant anti-feminist, and I've been critical about some of these people that are trying to put a conservative label on their name when they're blatantly spewing out nothing but a bunch of liberal propaganda. That's why this is True Conservative Radio, folks. If you're a conservative, don't be ashamed about it. I know there's a lot of liberals out there that try to agitate you. You know, I mean, I've wrote this on the blog, folks. Get back to it. Read it for yourself. I've gone into depth on this crap. ipolitic.net/ghost. I mean, this is serious out here. You know, liberals, I mean, if you go against the liberal thinking, haven't you noticed that? They try to agitate you. They try to demean you. They try to make you so insignificant so that you can be a part of their way of thinking. It's disgusting. It's sick, man. But that's the left for you. You got 'em. And, of course, you know, this was a country made for the people and by the people, but the people have fallen asleep at the wheel. And that's why I come up on here and scream my damn head off. I got a vein popping out of my damn forehead, but I could give two rats' asses because I think that these subject matters need to be amplified, they need to be talked about, and I think that more and more conservatives, I'm talking about true conservatives out there in America and elsewhere in the world, we need to come together on a political front. A political front. I'm talking about, you know, if you happen to be a true conservative, you need to go out to your local community out there. You need to go out there and you need to find other true conservatives that are like yourself. We need to come back on a grassroots level, folks. I mean, this is what we need. Anyway, folks, 646-652-4869 is the number to call. I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the chat room, and apparently there's some technical difficulties with the Blog Talk Radio Network, which really doesn't surprise me one bit. I mean, how convenient, old ghost. I'm on here at about 2 in the morning, and when there's nobody else broadcasting out here, and conveniently enough, there's technical difficulties with Old Ghost Show. Well, that's just great. Yeah, what else is new? What else is new, folks? If you're live, folks, I'm very sorry. Okay, I'm very sorry that you're having technical difficulties, but please forward them to the Blog Talk Radio Network. If you happen to be still listening to a live feed, please give me a call, 646-652-4869. This is True Conservative Radio, folks, and we're just having random discourse. I was talking about bringing morality back in America. Earlier in the program, we were talking a little bit about Russia and the Georgia situation, talking a little bit about Pervez Musharraf. Pervez Musharraf's resigning, or he was going to get kicked out either way. But it's a very precarious situation that's occurring and unraveling here in the international community, and I think that Americans need to pay very close attention to what happens. All right? I mean, just to what in the blue hell happens out here in America, or in the international community for that matter. And it seems that people are coming back and forth from the chat room here. I think that we're having some major technical difficulties. I'm sorry, folks. I'm really sorry. But unfortunately, what else is new? Old Ghost Show. I'm here at 2 in the morning. All right, I'm trying to provide some political discourse. I'm off peak time out here. And what happens? What happens out here? Old technical difficulties on Old Ghost's show. That's just great. It's brilliant, but what else is new? I'm sure if one of those sacred cows on BTR that they keep shoving down our holes on the homepage, and you know who I'm talking about, these people that think they're conservatives or liberal, whatever they think they are out there, they think they're media stars or rock star, whatever they are, nothing ever happens to those broadcasts. Haven't you noticed that? Nope, nothing ever happens to that one stupid, dumb Horse for Hillary program. And for all those of you that don't know it, please go to the blog. I name it specifically in the blog because I can't do it here on the Blog Talk Radio Network. ipolitic.net/ghost. But this is disgusting, folks. Anyway, let's get beyond this. Hopefully people can hear me. I'm sorry if, we're having technical difficulties. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, folks. And let me tell you, I'm just looking at the people just trying to figure out whether or not we're having technical difficulties or anything of that nature, but here we are, back to square one. Anyway, folks, I'm going to continue on here. I'm sorry if you happen to have technical difficulties, folks. Please forward all those complaints to the Blog Talk Radio Network because they deserve it, folks. Anyway, let's move on here. Once again, we went through a whole variety of different subject matters, and I think that it's going to be a very precarious election because whoever in the blue hell is the president, what they're spewing out as their political views, I'm talking about John Turncoat McCain, and I'm talking about Barack Hussein Obama, what they're spewing out is not really agreeing with logic, okay? I just don't understand why people aren't talking about issues like the subject matters we were talking about this evening, or early this morning, I should say, because nobody wants to talk about them. Haven't you noticed that? Anytime you try to facilitate debate, you notice that in the beginning of the program, we had liberals call up trying to get racial, trying to, get all kinds of four-letter filth and just spewing it for the sake of spewing it instead of actually trying to debate me on the political debate front, but they don't want to do it. And that's a method of agitation, folks. I'm telling you, you cannot trust a liberal, all right? I know that there's folks out there that are saying, oh, I got some liberal friends. They're not your friend, okay? They are not your friend. And let me tell you something. If you happen to have a liberal friend, all right, take this observation and use it in your own scenario if you happen to have a liberal friend. If you're a true conservative and you happen to have a liberal friend, are you the person always having to pick the person up or having to flip the tab on a mutual outing or anything of that nature? I mean, isn't there a certain dependency prone to liberals? Oh, man. Anyway, folks, anyway, 646-652-4869. Sorry about that dead air there. I was just taking a look in the chat room. Hopefully people are back online with me. Everybody's seems to be refreshing, trying to get back on the chat room here, but unfortunately people are just having technical difficulties. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. Anyway, this is True Conservative Radio. We need morality back in America. We have liberal agitators calling up. This has been a great show, folks. You know, we had some great discourse with David Allen. We've got some lively chat going on in the chat room here. I want to give a shout-out to everybody who happens to be tuning in with me live here. We got the Ozone. How you doing, Ozone? Pryan one. We got David Allen, of course. We've got T-Moss, Pundinator, General Rachel. How's it going, Rachel? And PST Woo, or I'm sorry I mispronounced your name, man. I don't know how to pronounce it, but anyway, folks, I strongly advise, if you happen to like politics, if you happen to really understand what it means to our everyday existence, how it dictates our actions, the way we conduct ourselves in everyday society, you begin to understand how important this mechanism of social order is. And because we've been accorded certain unalienable rights that were given to us by the Constitution, I think that people need to understand that document a little bit more. I think what they need to do is, you know, if you're within the sound of my voice, and obviously you're on the Internet, go on your nearest search engine and look up the damn Constitution, print it out, and put it in your damn pocket, you Nimrod. Because you have to understand, folks, you have to understand that we need to we need to go out and assert ourselves as a people, because remember, this system was built for the people by the people. But if the people aren't producing or aren't conducting themselves with any type of rational thinking, or not even caring about the political system altogether, this spells serious problems, and we're seeing a result of it here in our everyday society. Like I suggested, what are people voting on? I mean, and I say it over and over again. People are voting, you know, for Barack Obama because he's got nice teeth, because he looks presidential. You got people that are saying, you know, they're going to vote for John Turncoat McCain because, you know, it's just disgusting. It's just, I mean, we need to talk about the issues. And here we go again, folks. We've got some technical difficulties happening once again. We're having technical difficulties, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you happen to, you know, have technical difficulties with the Blog Talk Radio Network. You would think, folks, logic and rational thinking would tell you that being online here at about 2 in the morning Texas time, you wouldn't have these type of technical difficulties because it's off-peak time. There's not that many people broadcasting at this time. But, of course, here you go. Here you go. Here you go. More technical difficulties like a bunch of jerk nuts. You know, thanks a lot, BTR. Look, I'm sorry, folks. I mean, it just gets to me. I know I should be getting on to other subject matters here in the show, but when you've got mediums that people are capitalizing on your content that you're providing, the least you could do is provide it and, you know, have it work a little half-ass. All right? It's just silly. You know, and Ozone saying that, you know, call into Skype to listen. You know, I'd strongly advise folks to do that, because it's obvious that for some reason I'm being halted from spreading my political perspective from the liberal invisible forces that probably are the powers that be on this particular situation. And I'm just speculating, of course. I don't know that. But I just find it conveniently funny that, you know, I've had many, and you can look back in the archives, folks, I've had a lot of technical difficulties. I mean, a lot of them. It's just ridiculous. But, hey, what in the blue hell? Who cares, all right? We got about 25 minutes left in the program, and I know that there's people online right now that are listening to me via Skype or having to sign in, sign out, whatever the case might be, but we're going to move on here. We're going to move on, and we're going to talk about something else. I was actually talking to a fellow friend of mine who happens to be an educator. As a matter of fact, I know a lot of educators, folks. I actually know more professors than I do public education people, because public education people are all a bunch of idiots, with all due respect. If you happen to be a teacher and you wanted a pat on the back from me, you're not going to get it, okay? You're babysitters, okay? That's all you are, all right? There is no incentive for you to help facilitate a proper education whatsoever. I mean, we have a communist-style education system out here. But we'll get back to that in a minute. I've got a lot of friends out here who happen to be educators on the university level. And a lot of these people are actually closet conservatives. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, they actually have to be around colleagues who are just blatant Marxists, you know, just unapologetic Marxists. These idiots are just, you know, shoveling this left-wing crap down these poor kids' throats. And they've basically got to keep their little conservative views on the down low, because they'll be chastised for being a conservative out here. I mean, just if you happen to be a conservative person and you happen to have been with the first person you got married to, and you tell somebody who's single or who's a single parent or just in general, you tell them, well, yeah, we've been married for 30 years. You know, people look at you cross-eyed like you just, you know, farted an alien out of your behind. I'm not kidding you, folks. I mean, this is the kind of mental thinking that people are thinking out here in America, and it's become the norm, folks. It's become the norm. It's become the damn norm, and let me tell you something. I'm a conservative, and I'm not going to take it, and if you're a true conservative, you shouldn't take it either. And that's why I'm urging you, please, if you're a conservative, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your family, you owe it to fellow conservatives. And I'm doing my part, folks. I'm trying to go out on the local front out here. I'm trying to push other conservatives. We're trying to come together out here. We're trying to elect local conservative statesmen out here, local politicians out here. We're trying to do what it takes to help facilitate a conservative comeback here in America, because we need it. We need some moral integrity. These poor children are the ones that are suffering, folks. Just think about these children out here. And I know that's a cliche comment, but I'm meaning it on a serious level, folks. Think about it truly. Why do you think we're having so many of these teenage pregnancies out here? Why do you think we're having so much sexual deviant activity? Rise in depraved sexual acts among teenagers. Because they're subjected to this filth on a 24/7 basis. And who's in charge of that? Who's in charge of dispensing this filth? Liberal agenda, folks. Wake up and smell the liberal crap. It stinks. It stinks, folks. Take a good whiff. Just it makes you want to puke. Anyway, folks, I'm sorry. I'm getting out of hand here. I know that sometimes when I talk about these subjects, I just tend to get a little passionate. And the reason I get passionate is because I believe in what I say, and I say what I mean. All right? I mean, I'm not joking. All right? And I'm glad that most of the people that listen to this program listen to it through the archive. I've been emailed by lots of folks who say they download it, put it in their iPod, listen to it at work, and crack their asses up, while at the same time being informed about political subject matters. Sorry, folks, I gotta calm down here. You know, my heart's racing, and all the people that have been listening to my program for a long time know that I've had a high blood pressure problem as a result of this program. But I don't give two rats' asses. Okay, I'm going to continue coming up on here and trying to facilitate true conservative debate. I'm not talking about these people that are on the internet right now trying to put conservative on their name when they're blatantly spewing out nothing but a bunch of liberal propaganda. You know who these people are. If you're a true conservative, you know who these people are. Don't listen to these people. All right, these people have infected the minds of the Republican Party. That's why I'm no longer a Republican, folks. All right, that's why I'm no longer a Republican. They've infected the Republican Party. And it's sick. It's really disgusting. And we need to start understanding this. You know, people with a rational mind, people that understand that we have to have some kind of moral character in America are starting to understand that this liberalism is truly taking precedence in American social thought. I mean, it's not a joke. I mean, you've got Republicans that are calling themselves conservative Democrats or Republican Democrats or some kind of ridiculous garbage like that. What does that mean? It's pathetic. It's absolutely sick, folks. And this is why I come up on here, folks, and let me tell you, I am not voting for any of these stupid, imbecilic candidates for president. I'm not voting for them. Because none of them stand for conservative values whatsoever. As a matter of fact, they're taking conservatism, crimpling it up like a damn dirty piece of toilet paper, and flushing it down the proverbial toilet out here. That's what they're doing in both parties. I mean, I remember a time when conservative values, the conservative principles, were the root, was the foundation of the Republican Party. You remember those days? I remember them. But now, what is the Republican Party trying to do? They're trying to demonize conservatives, and they're purposely doing that. They're trying to equate conservatism with religious fanaticism. And that's ridiculous, folks. That's not what conservatism is about. Conservatism is about family. It's about moral character. It's about principles. I mean, that's what it's about. I mean, you know, sometimes just, you know, you heard me talk with passion there previous, but then there's sometimes I'm sitting here on my chair, and I'm just reclined back here, and I just got to look at the ceiling, and I just try to stare off into space and try to make sense of all this ridiculous nonsense out here. Try to take a deep breath. You know, you find yourself ever doing that? Taking a deep breath, just... And then, you know, you feel some sort of relief in the chest area, and your muscles end up loosening up a little bit because the oxygen was able to fill the muscles up. And then you start thinking, man, where did we go wrong as American people? I mean, how did it get so bad out here? How did we allow liberalism to infect everybody's minds like this? This is the majority of America, folks. I mean, this is really a just unprecedented phenomenon. I mean, once it's all said and done, folks, I mean, I know that I'm talking with passion out here, but once you come to the realization, once the blood starts pumping regularly instead of pumping with piss and fury, you start realizing that it is a unconscionable feat here. I mean, if you just look at the size of liberalism and what it's done, what it's been able to do in our judicial system, in our educational system, in our legislative, I mean, just, I mean, it can make a person go a little cadoodle. But I just don't know, folks. Anyway, by all means, folks, we got about a little over 15 minutes left in the program. I want to thank you for patronizing. Give me a call if you want to chime in on something. 646-652-4869 is the number to call. Get back to the blog as well, folks, ipolitic.net. That's ipolitic.net/GHOST, ipolitics.net/ghost. And just get back to me. Leave some comments, folks. Whether you disagree or agree with me, leave some comments. You don't even have to leave your real name on there. You can anonymously comment on all the content on there. And that's what's great about that community. That's why I like it. I want to hear liberals bash me. I want to show the world, whoever's reading the blogs out there, whoever's reading what I'm putting out here, I want them to read the liberal agitation. As a matter of fact, you can go to other parts of that internet community, that political community. ipolitic.net it's a pure political-based community. You can see liberals. I mean, they're dedicating time and energy into constructing profiles and groups to agitate yours truly. I mean, this is not a joke here. It's disgusting. It really is. But you see, that's the left for you, folks. That's why, and I wrote this on a past blog, the true conservatives are going to prevail, all right, because we are on the side of goodness, folks. All right, the debate, the substance matter of the debate is on our side. All right, I mean, I just think that this is a rhythmic pattern where, you know, it was time for, you know, a certain part of America or a majority of America to become a bunch of Neanderthal heathens out here. You know, with no conscience whatsoever or anything of that nature. But we will be back, folks. The true conservative movement will be back. And I believe, and I give it maybe 10, 15, 20 years at the most. And I see that true conservatism will be back. You're going to see an emphasis on having just one marriage to one person. You're going to see an emphasis on the family once again. You're going to see an emphasis on some sort of moral character. You're going to see these things again. I guarantee it. Because what are the liberals going to do? What's their debate? No, we don't want you to shield children from sexual depravity or violence. No. That's their debate. All right? That is their debate. I'm telling you, folks, and I've said this over and over, and I've gotten a lot of heated emails about this. I'm telling you, these liberals are not going to be happy until there are two males across the street from an elementary school engaging in oral copulation, folks, out in public. I'm telling you, this is the agenda. They just want a depraved, immoral society out here that is dependent on government, because that's communism. That is communism, folks. Why do you think communism has swept all the government bureaucracies? Because they're living communism. I mean, you understand it? They live in communism. You know, the teachers, all the teachers in America, all the education system, everything, everybody who's employed with the exception of the janitors and the people who do the secretary work, every one of them are a bunch of liberal idiots and feminist bull dykes. All right, I'm telling you this. And if you don't believe me, take a look at what they're teaching your children. I mean, take a look at your nearest elementary school when these kids are out there playing, you know, at recess. I'm not saying go out there and scope them out. If you happen to be some Woody Allen fruity butt-loving pedophile kind of freak, you know, go screw yourself. And as a matter of fact, I think you deserve the death penalty if you happen to have any kind of immoral thoughts about children. You piece of crap. I'm sick and tired, and this is a whole other show. As a matter of fact, we've had show discussions about this, but I find it rather disgusting that we can send somebody who does drugs. And I'm no fan of drugs, folks. You know, I think drugs are disgusting. But people are going 10, 15 years in prison for multiple drug offenses, and that's pretty harsh. And then you got these damn pedophiles that walk the face of the earth and rob the innocence of children, and they only get about 1.5 years, 2 years in prison. I mean, this is the kind of crap we're talking about out here. Another thing I don't like is how they, and this happened to a judge recently in the local community surrounding my community. A local judge happened to be, I don't know, maybe participating in a Larry Craig situation. I don't know, but you see, the man, according to his story, he was, urinating in public. He admitted to urinating in public. Well, they charged the man with a sexual crime. Now he's got to be in the damn sexual database. They're putting him in the same category as these damn pedophiles out here. And I think if you're a damn pedophile, you are in a whole category of yourself. It's an automatic death sentence. And let me tell you something. Out here in Texas, we are pro-death penalty out here. All right? We are pro-death penalty. If you happen to be committing crime that is affecting lives, you're taking people's lives, or you're being a damn just sadistic, sociopathic freak to society, we take care of the problem. All right, and I know there's a lot of tree-hugging, long-haired liberal hippies that are out there saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe they killed so many people in Texas." Well, you know what? Go hug a tree, go save a whale or some crap, okay? We're just trying to set precedent out here in Texas that if you're going to be committing that kind of crime, you better understand that you're going to die. And we're going to rid social parasites of society. And what I mean by that, I'm talking about killers. Killers, that killed for the fun of it, killing people in armed robberies. Pedophiles. I believe that pedophiles deserve a death sentence. I believe it. If there's not a death sentence, well, I think their genitals should be cut off, or some shit. Or excuse me, I slipped up there. Well, because this particular subject matter really gets me just pissed off, folks. I can't stand anybody who victimizes children like this. I just can't stand it. And these idiots have more rights than the actual victims out here. You know that? I mean, these poor victims that are robbed of their innocence, folks. I mean, these people are never going to be right again. I mean, once a child is victimized like that, they're never going to grow up with correct thought process. They're scarred for life. I mean, they just robbed this poor child of a meaningful or a non-painful existence out here. I think that they should be executed, or have their genitals removed, or something really drastic. Because these people are sick. I'm sorry to get off on a rant on pedophiles here. I know that I was talking about something else, but let me tell you, folks, I live in a part of Texas that, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's too hot out here or something, but there's a lot of damn pedophiles. And the only reason I know is because I searched the databases. Let me tell you, I think that's one of the greatest things about being a pedophile and out on parole out here is that we can find out who you are, you sick, sadistic freak. But what I don't like is that you've got people that are, linked up in the same category, and they did harsh crimes themselves, and obviously they deserved punishment, and they served their time and that sort of thing. But you're linking these people up with pedophiles, and pedophiles is just a whole other category. I mean, even if they fondle children, it's just sick, man. These people are only getting 2 years in prison. And, they know now that pedophiles, nobody in prison likes a pedophile. You want to know why nobody in prison likes a pedophile? Because I think it's like over 90% of the people in prison got molested as a child. Okay? So that's why they became a horrible product of society, because they were probably more than likely molested as a child. That's why you go into the prisons out here and they want to kill these pedophiles. I say do it. They want to put them in protective custody now. You know that? They got a pedophile wing of Huntsville Prison, from what I understand. And they want to, put them in protective custody and, protect them from all the scary inmates. I say just go in there and let the people that are incarcerated, the convicts, do the justice of society. that society just apparently won't do because we're so damn liberalized. The liberals probably think that, poor pedophile, he was just, confused. This is the tolerance they're talking about. That's what they want you to tolerate. That's what they want you to tolerate. I just find it sick. Now, look, I'm not a fan of drugs by any means, and I had a show about drugs, and we had some discourse about it. As a matter of fact, we had Ozone on that show sometime back in January. And we'll get back to that maybe on another show in the future, but I don't understand how you can take somebody who's a drug user and put them at a higher level of a time sentence than a pedophile. I just don't understand it, folks. I just want to break something right now, folks. Just thinking about these sick, sadistic jerkasses, these fruity bastards that are out here victimizing children. I just want to break something. I want to break their faces. Yeah, I'm not trying to advocate violence or anything of that nature. I'm just saying that, it's just sad, man. Because I've raised children. I've got grandchildren. And, what keeps me going and what keeps me pumped up full of energy is seeing the innocence in their eyes and, seeing how they get happy over the simple things in life. And them appreciating certain things that, we used to appreciate at one time when we were youngins. And unfortunately, the real world hit us in the face. And a lot of us are in situations that we don't have time to just kick back and just kind of think of things on a more simplistic level and appreciate the simple things in life. I think people are getting a little too simple in the regard of not knowing anything. But what I mean by simplicity, I'm talking about looking, if you take a look at a child and when they ride a ride at the carnival or at a theme park, I mean, when they watch a little cartoon program, I mean, it's the innocence that's just unbelievable about children. That's why anytime I hear anything about some pedophile piece of garbage, just getting on some jail sentence for 2 years because, they molested a kid multiple times, it makes me want to puke. It really makes me want to puke. Anyway, folks, we got 3 minutes left. I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me. I'm sorry about the late timing of the show. Unfortunately, like I said, this is a spontaneous show. I don't have a set time. I'm not like these sacred cows on the Blog Talk Radio Network. And you know who I'm talking about, these people that are shoved down your faces as political legitimacy around these parts, when you know and I know they're nothing but a bunch of damn liberal pieces of long-haired, hippie, tree-hugging, whale-saving crap. Now, I just want to thank you for tuning in with me. Anyway, get back to me, folks, by all means. ipolitic.net/ghost. I've been hanging out in that community for a while. It's a very new community. As a matter of fact, I actually purchased the first membership from an online auction website. And, I've said some pretty nasty things on some of my blogs. I wouldn't say they were anything that repulsive, but they would have ruffled some feathers like I did over there at MySpace and other social networking sites that I've been banned from because of my political views. But I think that it's a great community, and I hate to keep promoting it, but the person that I bought the membership from is a great young man, a very smart young man. I've talked to him on the phone several times, and I just think he's doing a great idea. I don't really agree with him politically, but it's just a great idea. I mean, everybody expressing their political views, a purely political community, and I think that's why it's taken a little bit for people to join the community, because you have to actually have some sense to join it. You actually have to have some sort of political sense, some sort of political intelligence, some sort of intellectual curiosity to join this community. Anyway, folks, I want to thank you for tuning in with me. Get back to me, ipolitic.net/ghost, and if you happen to have time, go ahead and sign up and become a member there. It's free. You can do all kinds of stuff on there. You can blog, you can chat in the chat rooms, you can upload video, music, your forums, the whole 9 yards. It's great. And the reason I'm on it so much is because, well, they haven't kicked me off. They haven't kicked me off yet. Get back to the blog, folks, ipolitic.net/ghost. Leave me some comments. I want to hear from you. And if you happen to be a liberal that hates me, please leave me some comments. I want to hear from you, too. I want you to prove my point. All right? I want you to prove my point. All right, folks. Anyway, it's about 30 seconds and counting down. Get back to me. I don't know when the next show is going to be. Bookmark ipolitic.net/ghost. I'm probably going to go over there right now, either hang out in the chat room or do a blog or two. Hopefully I'll see you there. If not, until next time, folks, long live the true conservative movement and death to feminism. Thank you very much.
A Napa guy knows the only way you'd give a freshly minted driver a brand new car is if he promises to never drive it. Instead, let him grind the gears and knock over the neighbor's mailbox in something a little more suited to his skill level. And with over 400,000 parts and a little Napa know-how, he can safely drive something that's nearly as old as he is. It's not perfect, but it's perfect for him. That's Napa know-how.